Hello, welcome back, everybody. Miracle Mom and Michael, and
That's Miracle Mom and Michael.
there she is. I'm not kidding. You hear that lovely voice? It's the one I've heard my whole life, and you're just now getting to hear it for the first time. Um, so I'm having Mom tell her story, her life story, and she's talking about. We left off at the last time we were talking about you had just moved to Phoenix and you had just gone to a rock concert, Janis Joplin, and I want you to tell me what life was like in Phoenix. Maybe talk about if you remember when I was born and anything like that. Just talk about you and Dad and life from living in Phoenix.
Oh, okay. All right, we're in Phoenix, and we moved into a duplex there in Phoenix.
Was that on McKinley?
Yeah, East McKinley.
Yep.
And I started working at Good Samaritan Hospital, became a registered nurse, so, I was working full time. Your dad he mentioned that he would take some time. He went to Tucson every now and then to work for somebody who owned a shoe store and all that, so he was sort of back and forth. And then at some point, he wasn't working, and I don't remember, why or what happened about that. I
Because
don't
you
know
were
whether
making all the money.
I was the breadwinner, is what I was. And it worked out pretty well for us because at that time, Good Samaritan Hospital had a daycare center.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
And it was open from like 6 a.m. until midnight. So no matter what shift you worked, you could take your children there.
So he wasn't.
And it was really.
So he wasn't Mr. Mom. He was just hanging out on his own.
Well, see, I ended up working the 3 to 11 shift because it was really hard. It was difficult to get a day shift job in those days because the nurses who got that shift stayed on it.
Yeah.
Those didn't vacate or open up very often at all.
You had to do your time.
So, huh?
You had to do your time to get into one of those shifts.
Yeah, right. And they didn't come that often. So I was working full time pretty much. I don't think I always every single time took the kids to the daycare. But, when I did, worked out fine.
Got it. Because you had a man. You had a man at home that could watch us.
Yeah, right. And he did.
Yeah.
He did do that. He did his share. And we lived next door to a couple, Sandy and Johnny.
Juan, yeah.
Called him Juan. And they had a little boy, and then she had another little boy during the time that we lived there. So
Marco and Ivan.
Yeah, Marco and Ivan and you guys.
I remember these people.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. And they were fun. They were a nice couple. We got along really well. And so I went to work. Of course, I loved my job. And your dad did do his dad thing when he decided to do it. But other than that, it was all pretty normal, kind of living together as a family. And I remember one time your grandpa bought a tricycle for Michelle when she was old enough to ride it. And I left it out on the front porch one night, got up the next day, and it was gone.
Mm.
And I was just sick. I was just sick over that. Of course, we didn't bother looking for it. We knew if someone stole it, we would never see it again. But That broke my heart. Anyway, you were born at Good Samaritan Hospital. And I think I took about a month off from work at that time to be at home.
Gotcha.
It wasn't much longer than that. So there we were, with another new baby, a boy.
Surprise!
Surprise!
You got one of each. Now you got one of each.
Yeah. And you two were just 15 months apart.
Yep.
And you guys were the easiest children to have. That's just the way it was. You both slept well from the time you were born. You never got in fights together. You really were like best buddies, almost like twins. People used to even say that about you two because you were so close together. But it was such an easy time, really. I never remember ever being frustrated or mad or upset or why did we do this or any of that. In fact, I remember saying, I don't know if I said it to your dad or not, but I remember saying to somebody, boy, if kids are this easy, I could have 12.
That's funny.
Oh, dear. Well, that didn't happen, but
yeah.
That's how it was. It was a good time. I look back on it.
So, how long were you at East McKinley, and then you moved to Cherry Lynn Road or something?
Yeah, Cherry Lynn Road. Well, as it so happened, this isn't a part of my history that I like to talk about, but it is what happened.
All right. Fasten your seatbelts, everybody. Here we go. Maybe I don't even know this one. All right.
This is the way I remember it. It was in the evening, and I was at home. And your dad came through the door, and he had a woman with him, a woman. And he came in, and he simply came up to me, and he said, well, I'm packing up all my stuff, and I'm moving out with her. That's what he said.
That was on East McKinley?
That was on East McKinley.
I've never heard that. I've never heard you say that. I mean,
I've never said it.
Oh. I'm calling him later today.
Oh, you are?
Uh-huh. I'm going to get this out of him, too.
Well, I distinctly remember her being with him. Now, he may deny that. I don't know what he'll say.
He may not remember it at all, but...
Well, he may not. I don't know if he'd been smoking pot and drinking wine or what. But that's exactly how that happened. He just walked in, packed up his stuff, and before I could hardly get any words out, like, well, where are you going? What does this mean? What is happening here? I remember him saying something about they had a place there in Phoenix. It was some place local that they were going to move into. Bye-bye. It's all over. Well, the way I sum it up is that was the beginning of what I call a night season in my life.
All right. I want to wrap this segment up and continue this conversation in the next segment. So it's a good cliffhanger. It's like cliffhanger of cliffhangers. Mom's night season. That'll be the next segment, actually. Probably call that something like that. I just want to wrap this up with, so I must have been a year and a half or something old. Michelle was 3, maybe? 2 years old?
Yeah, right around there.
All right. The reason I bring that up is because I remember that place. I mean, I don't remember everything vividly, but I remember living there. Yeah. I remember playing with Marco and Ivan. I remember knowing Sandy and Juan. I remember the neighborhood. I remember the look, the way the house looked. And so it's just, some people don't have memories from way back, but those are my earliest memories. I remember them, and I don't know. It was a good experience, I guess. It didn't traumatize me for me to black it out. So I love you. I love you, Mom.
I love you too.